Hi everyone there. My name is Aman Ahmed and I am in class 9 and this is my first video for the YouTube. So in this video, we are going to talk about class 9 NCSE Civics first chapter, which is known as our Constitution. So let's get started without wasting any time. So we all know that the Constitution for a country is the most important thing for it. So in this chapter, first of all, we will require to learn the definition of Constitution. So let's write the definition of Constitution. In every exam we will be asked the definition of Constitution. So the definition is this: a comprehensive document that describes the rights and duties of its citizens and the manner according to which the governance of a country is to be carried out. So, what's the meaning of Constitution? Our Constitution, that means a constitution. A constitution is a comprehensive document. Here, comprehensive document, this is comprehensive document. A comprehensive document means a document which is up to date, that describes, it explains the rights. What are the rights and the duties of its citizen? That means what are the rights and duties of us? We are the citizens of India. So rights and duties of its citizens and the manner according to which the governance of a country is to be carried out. After that, you can add also this. It also regulates the power of the three organs. What are the three organs? Yes, legislative, executive and judiciary. I am writing in short, but we will have to write the full in examination. So, three organs: LEG and states how they are interrelated. So this is the full definition of the Constitution. So we have to learn this. Next we come to next topic here, enactment of the Constitution. Enactment of the Constitution means the planning of Constitution. How was the making of Constitution planned? So here we will write enactment of planning. We will write planning. It will be more easier. So planning was that in 1946. In 1946. We have to remember the date also. In 1946, a cabinet mission arrived in India from Britain. So, planning means in 1946, the year was 1946, and in that year, a cabinet mission from Britain arrived in India. They set a proposal to meet the demands of the freedom fighters. So here they set a proposal, that means they planned to make the Constitution to fulfill the need of our freedom fighters. So here one of the proposal was to set up a constituent assembly. In exam we will be also asked that who drafted our Constitution. So the answer is Constituent Assembly drafted our Constitution. It's not a very long story, but we will as we move further in this chapter, we will get to learn about Constituent Assembly. So here, one of the proposals was to set up a Constituent Assembly. Okay. Number three was what happened elections were held. Elections were held. After the elections were held. Election completed by July 1946. In this book, okay, we also get to learn about elections were held, and elections were held by indirectly. Elections were held indirectly. By the provincial legislative assembly. It is also known as the lower house. And in present we call it as Lok Sabha. So we know that election was completed by July 1946. After the election, what happened? Here number 4. After the election, when I am telling about when the election was totally completed. So what happened after that? Total members in the Constituent Assembly. CM is Constituent Assembly. I am writing in short. Constituent Assembly were 389 members. Okay. Out of 389 members, 293 were elected. 292 were elected. I am really sorry. 292 were elected and 93 were nominated. Elections completed. So after the election, 389 members were total in the Constituent Assembly. After that 389, out of 389, 292 members were elected and 93 were nominated. Okay, let's see what happened after that. We have to also learn this point, the Constituent Assembly of Undivided India. Constituent Assembly of Undivided India. What's the meaning of Undivided India? Undivided India means that at that time India was not separated into two states. One India and other Pakistan. So it is told here Undivided India. So out of 389 members, 292 members were elected and 93 members were nominated. Finished? After the formation of the Constituent Assembly. How was the Constituent Assembly formed? This was the planning. Planning and formation, there are differences. So formation of Constituent Assembly. So number 1 point, first sitting of Constituent Assembly was on 9th December 1946. Was on December 9, 1946. Where it was held? In the Central Hall of Parliament. In the Central Hall of Parliament. Okay. So number first point here, first sitting of the Constituent Assembly was held on December 9, 1946. Where it was held? In the Central Hall of Parliament. Okay. After that, number second point, Constituent Assembly was on the first step. Okay. So in this, who gave the first speech? So in the Constituent Assembly, the first speech was given by Dr. Sachinananda Sinha, oldest sitting member of the Central Assembly. Okay. So who gave the first speech? Answer is Dr. Sachidananda Sinha gave the first speech. And on 11th December, number 3 point, 11th December, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Dr. Rajendra Prasad was made the President of the Constituent Assembly. Okay. Now, this was the formation. that first sitting of Constituent Assembly was held on 9 December 1946, where it was held Central Hall of Parliament. In the Constituent Assembly, who gave the first speech here? Dr. Sachidananda Sinha gave the first speech. Number third point, on 11 December, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was made the President of Constituent Assembly. Okay, on 11 December 1946, same year. Okay, so that's why I didn't write here. So 11 December 1946, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was made the President of Constituent Assembly. Okay, next. After that, a problem came into existence. What was that problem? Number 6. The problem was the Muslim League. The Muslim League boycotted the Constituent Assembly. What happened? The Muslim League boycotted the Constituent Assembly. They boycotted. So after the the Muslim League boycotted the Constituent Assembly, so many members from the Constituent Assembly were themselves removed. Like this, Constituent Assembly, Muslim League boycotted. So out of 389 members, 299 members left. Sorry, 299 members were, yes, they were left. 310 members out of 389, when the Muslim League boycotted, 299 members left. After 299, or on 26 November 1949, November 26, 1949, out of 299, the people who were left, out of 299 members, 284 members were present. 310 members were there in total. Out of, when the Muslim League boycotted, 299 members left. And on the first meeting, and on November 26, 1949, only 284 members were present. Now we have to learn one more thing, that between 9th December, between 9 December 1946 to August 14. This is the date. 9 December, between 9 December 1946 to August 14, the Constituent Assembly had 5 sessions. So this was whole the formation of the Constituent Assembly. Let's revise once again. First, formation of Constituent Assembly. First sitting of the Constituent Assembly was on 9th December 1946, where in the Central Hall of Parliament. Number 2, first speech was given by Dr. Sachidananda Sinha. And number 3, 11th December 1946, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was made the President of Constituent Assembly. Number 6, what happened? The Muslim League started boycotting the Constituent Assembly and the plan of making the constitution. So, out of 389 members, total number 299 members were left. Out of 299 members, 26 November 1949, only 284 members were present. Number 8, between 9 December 1946 to August 14, the Constituent Assembly had 5 sessions. Okay, this was the formation. Now, number 9. Yes, number 9. Composition of the Constituent Assembly. Composition. How the composition was made. Let's see here. Composition of the Constituent Assembly. I am writing it short, but we have to write the full. What was the composition of the Constituent Assembly? The cabinet mission that arrived in India in 1946, you remember the date. The cabinet mission only wanted to represent 3 categories. They were the general category, the Muslims, and the Sikhs. But what happened? Congress Congress told no, we will not let you to represent only three categories that were general, Muslim and Sikh. We will try to represent all the categories that were in the country at that time. So what happened? The Anglo-Indians were represented, Indian Christians were represented, the Parsis were represented, the Muslim League was also represented, and the Sikhs were also represented. So, who represented them? Let's write here. Number 10, Anglo-Indians. Anglo-Indians. Anglo-Indians were represented by Mr. S.H. Prater and Mr. Frank Anthony. Mr. S.H. Prater and Mr. Frank Anthony. Sorry. This was the first category. Now next, the Indian Christians. This is 1, this is 2. Indian Christians were represented by Dr. H.C. Mukherjee and Joseph D'Souza. By Dr. H.C. Mukherjee and Joseph D'Souza. This was Indian Christians. Number 3, the Parsis. The Parsis were represented by Dr. H.P. Modi. Number 4, although the Muslim League had boycotted here, we have learned Muslim League boycotted, but from the Muslim League Muslim League was represented by two people. They were Zafar Imam. Z will be in capital. They were Zafar Imam and Muhammad Sadullah. Muslim League boycotted, but from Muslim League 2 members were there, Zafar Imam and Muhammad Sadullah. At last, but not the least, the Sikhs were represented by Sardar Hukum Singh and Ujjal Singh. By Sardar Hukum Singh and Ujjal Singh. So we can see that almost all the categories were represented. So we can also say that the Constituent Assembly was national in character. So till now we have learned the definition of Constituent Assembly. Planning, how was it planned? Total planning, elections, when was the election completed? Indirectly held by the Provincial Legislative Assembly, Lower House, Lok Sabha. How many members were total there? How many elected, how many nominated? Now formation we have learned. After the formation, composition of the Constituent Assembly. So this was the composition. Now we are going to learn about the objective resolution. Just a minute. Let me rub it. Okay. Now, what was objective resolution? So I am reading from here. Objective resolution. When the Constituent Assembly started the work of drafting the Constitution, I told you that Constituent Assembly drafted. So it can be the question can be asked in examination that who drafted the Constitution. So Constituent Assembly. So when they started the work of drafting Constitution, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru proposed objective resolution. He told that not all the points will be added in the objective resolution, but we will try to add the important points in the objective resolution. So objective resolution was proposed on December 13, 1946 and was passed on January 22, 1947. It was proposed on December 13, 1946 and was passed on January 22, 1947. So the objective resolution highlighted the objectives and laid down the national goals. So what was the first goal? Objective resolution was about India, free India. Free India will be nothing but republic. Free India will be nothing but republic. Number 2, the social, political and economic democracy would be guaranteed to all the people, would be given, you can also write to all the people. Number third point, it is telling that the republic would grant fundamental rights to the citizen. We will learn in the chapter directive principles and duties of the citizens of India. So state republic in the country would grant fundamental rights. We have 6 fundamental rights, we know, to its citizen. Number third point, republic would grant fundamental rights to its citizens. Okay. Number third point. Number 4, the last point. The state would safeguard the rights of minorities and backward classes. Here we can see state would. What's the meaning of state? State means the country. The country would safeguard, it will protect the rights of minorities and backward classes. Minorities means lower classes and the backward classes. So the state would, you can write safeguard or you can also write protect. So would protect the rights of the minorities and backward classes. So this was the objective resolution. I am repeating once again, objective resolution was passed by the Constituent Assembly on January 22, 1947. Okay, so we'll complete this chapter in 2 or 3 parts. So in the first part we have learned objective resolutions. We started from, let's revise. We started from the definition, we came to the planning. After that we came to the formation, how the Constituent Assembly was formed. After that what was the composition, and at last but not the least, objective resolutions. So this is the first part. I hope that you understood what I explained. So till then, bye bye, and we will meet in the next video very soon. Thank you.